Welcome to the Premier League career mode tier list. Basically, we're just going to be ranking every team on how fun they are to use in career mode. Quadruple obviously being the most fun, not actually just winning a quadruple every time. Awesome, just pretty fun. Decent, self-explanatory. Meh, just a bit boring. And getting sacked, you're just not going to have a good time with it. First team then we've got on this one, going for a completely random order. Got Leeds here, and for me, they're actually going straight in the top tier. Fun team to use, decent budget. You've got players you can get rid of, players you can keep.
Players like Mesler.
Mesler in goal, good career mode goalie is always a fantastic place to start. So I think Leeds, first one to go in the top tier, just straight up. Next team then is Wolves, and for me, I think they're a pretty good team to use. I'd probably put them quite high up, to be honest. Like, they're just an alright team. They've got some young talent, some older players who can still sell for quite a lot. And I think overall you'd have a pretty good fun time using the Wolves team. Obviously stick to the Portuguese theme as well. So where do you put them, Tom?
Decent, probably.
Probably decent. We're going to put decent on that one. Next up then is AFC Bournemouth, and for me this is a team where I would put probably an awesome, maybe even quadruple.
Also awesome for me.
Using a player like Jadon Anthony as well, former Sunday League player, is really fun to do. Ukrainian centre-back, he's decent, and I think they've got a young team, and it's interesting to try and help Bournemouth stay up, because they're the team. Everyone would think they're relegated, so I'd honestly go for quadruple. Where would you put them? We're gonna go for awesome in the end there. Next up then is Newcastle, another team that I believe deserves to go quite high up. I'd honestly think about putting them quadruple maybe. You've got Anthony Gordon there, Isaac's got good potential, St. Maximin as well, Joe Willock.
Like Kieran Trippier, just good enough.
You've got already good players, and you've got a pretty good budget as well, obviously, with the Saudi takeover. So I think that Newcastle here deserve to go in quadruple. There we go. Next up then, John, let's not do a moderate bomb, let's surprise them. Let's go Brentford. Next up, to be honest, not really a fun team. They've got players that deserve to be much higher rated on FIFA. Watch our video on that if you haven't already. We did a re-rating Brentford players. And I think that they've got players that deserve to be higher rated, but because they're pretty low rated, can't sell them for much, don't have too much potential. They're not a brilliant team to use in career mode, so I'd probably go for meh for Brentford.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, because I don't think they've got anyone that's... I mean, you've got King Lewis Potter, but he also like
King Lewis Potter, though, to be fair, is a good one to use. Tom, why don't you pick the next team?
I'm going to pick Spurs.
Spurs. For me, this is one of the worst teams to use in career mode.
Getting sacked from it.
No real young talent, and I'd agree with getting sacked.
Eric Dyer at the back. You're looking for problems there, aren't you?
Major problem, although you would get to replace him at least. Or you'd hope you'd replace him. I don't know anyone who's kept Eric Dyer in a Spurs team. Tom is having technical difficulties here.
We leave George to the technical...
There we go. Well, next up then, let's go back in order. Aston Villa. For me, actually really fun team to use.
I'm going to go Awesome for this, because I think they've got some very good players, and due to their past, you could replicate it possibly. Yeah, they've got
already good players, a couple young players like Jacob Ramsey, got a decent budget as well. So yeah, all around a pretty good team to use. I would agree with Awesome. Let's go for Chelsea next. They've got a lot of players, which is already a sort of minus for me in career mode. It's difficult to deal with a massive squad.
Some young players.
So you get a lot of budget, you've got young players. I think lots of that squad need replacing, so it could be pretty fun. It's not completely awful.
I'll go with meh.
I'd go for meh.
It's quite easy to dominate, really.
Yeah, it's not too fun being one of the big teams usually anyway in career mode.
Let me switch up here. I'm going to go with West Ham.
West Ham United. Actually, one of my least favourite teams to use in career mode, in all honesty.
We're getting sacked.
I don't enjoy using. Tom's going getting sacked. I'm going getting sacked. I agree. Sorry, West Ham fans. You just don't really have any young talent. An okay budget.
You have a player like Paqueta, but there's nobody that's...
Yeah, just not an all-round squad. There you go. West Ham and getting sacked. Next team then. Let's go Crystal Palace this time. Actually, a pretty fun team to use in career mode. I really enjoy using them.
I'll probably put them in decent for me.
Guehi, Mitchell...
But you've got some problem in midfield.
Midfield's not great. Guehi, Mitchell, I'm trying to remember the other players. Elise, Eze's still pretty decent on career mode. You get to sign a clinical striker, which is what you need. Striker and a right back, two big signings to make.
Maybe as well,
and yeah, you do have a pretty old goalie as well. So overall, it's a pretty fun team to do. So Tom's saying decent. I'll agree with it because it also makes it look nice and symmetrical so far. There we go. Next team then. Should we go for Brighton? We'll go your team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I'm going to say decent.
Yeah,
it's not awesome because I think there's some very good players, but I think FIFA has been rating them too highly, which I need to have a higher word about that.
They got players like McAllister who aren't really high enough rated, so you can't feel their potential too well.
Like Evan Ferguson, who has, but then you can't really
Evan Ferguson, brilliant potential, but to start in Premier League in FIFA career mode, it just doesn't really work out too well. So it's kind of a weird mix. So Brighton are in the middle. So I reckon that's probably about where they deserve to go on this tier list. In the middle, we going for decent?
Yeah, we're going for decent, aren't we?
Next team then, let's go for Nottingham Forest, one of the worst teams I've found to use.
I think getting sacked.
Getting sacked, I've been kind of agree. It's annoying to have such a big squad, but you can recreate their past success going back to back in the Champions League. Brennan Johnson as well is a great player, but yeah, none of their players sell for a lot. None of them are quite brilliant for the Premier League either.
Sorry for Forest fans.
So what are we putting them right down there?
Right. I don't know. I don't think it's my debt. I think it's their fault, really.
Okay, next up then, Arsenal, a team that I'd probably put in decent based on the fact they've already got really good young players.
I think they could be awesome, but I think the problem is because they've got too many.
They've got so many good young players, there's no one really to sign. You might sign some defence and midfield, but you want to sign attackers in career mode, really, and they've pretty much got that area of the pitch sorted. So
you could be winning.
It's still decent, but overall, I'd probably say just. It's not quite awesome, just decent. Not meh though. Meh's a bit harsh. Yeah. Okay, next up then, we'll go Liverpool. Next up on the list. I would put them getting sacked because they're a big team and the big teams aren't usually that fun. But Liverpool have like many positions that need replacing because they're getting old, which makes it a bit better than some of the other big teams. So I'd probably go meh. It's a bit similar to Chelsea because there is still some young talent there, such as Harvey Elliott and Konate.
Anyway, so overall, to the other side of Merseyside, and we'll go to
Everton Football Club. I'd probably put them on the same level as Liverpool.
Yeah,
really.
But I think they've got a good budget and they've got a
okay budget, but their defence utterly sucks. So Nana's alright, but other than that, most of their team's too old, got no real potential left.
Tricky challenge,
and not that high rated. But for me, I'd just go meh. Really, I think in career mode, Liverpool and Everton are sort of on the same level, just not too fun to do. Next up, then let's go Southampton.
Well, I think
for me, actually, pretty fun team to use. They got young players, but the problem is some of those young players aren't quite good enough for the Prem. That makes it quite a horrendous time at
the first season a bit tricky, but the second season you can actually start.
Yeah,
you need to set
a challenge.
You've got players like Belakovic, Bazunu. I don't think
Sulemana as well is pretty good, so I think they're all right. I think Awesome's about fair, really. You would have a challenge in the first season, though, but James Ward-Prowse, hopefully, he can carry you through, unless you sell him. Next up, then, we'll go for Leicester. Decent team, just not too fun, really. I haven't had that much fun using Leicester on career mode before. I'd probably go meh. Tom hasn't used them before, but there's a reason he hasn't used them.
You've got players like
bit boring.
Tielemans and
Dewsbury Hall, stuff like that, but they don't really fill out the top level of potential. James Ward-Prowse isn't there. Man City, then, for me, getting sacked, you can pretty much win everything already. You don't need to make any improvements to the squad. You've already got Haaland, got Phil Foden. Yeah, Tom's had an absolute stinker there, but I think City just getting sacked. You're already going to win everything. Not much point. James Maddison. Alright, where would you put City then? I'd say getting sacked. It's just a bit boring.
Because you can win a quadruple in the first season.
Yeah, it's just a bit boring, really. And we're ranking this on how fun they are to use. Next time, should we go the other side of Manchester?
Yeah, I think it's a similar sort of situation here.
Yeah, probably a bit better than City to do, but I don't want to see
you could replicate their history in the past, but
maybe putting United in getting sacked. Just another big team. They've got a ridiculous budget. You could have fun signing the very best young talents, but I think that gets a bit boring after a season or two.
Run out under their amazing season this season because they've got too many old players, which isn't the best for career moments. So.
Yeah, got an old squad. I'd probably go meh. I might put getting sacked because you can't really sign any other players for a lot as well. And if we put getting sacked, we've made basically a staircase here. That does look pretty good. Quite aesthetically pleasing, and I feel like we've almost done that on purpose now. Quite aesthetically pleasing. Anyway, tell us what you think of this tier list for ranking teams.
If you want to do a championship one, you tell us in the comments.
Yeah, well, we want to do a championship one as well, because those are the fun teams to use. Anyway, that will just about wrap up this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.